Welcome back. We're now learning that Mateen and his wife visited Disney World on April 26, and then Mateen visited a Disney shopping center and the nightclub where the attacks happened earlier this month. FBI officials believe they were there scouting the areas for possible attacks. So how do we keep soft targets like shopping centers, cafes, and clubs secure? Joining me now is former FBI Special Agent Navy SEAL Jonathan Gilliam, who stays with us from the first block, and also joining us from Florida, Delray Beach, Florida, is Police Detective Tom Whatley, retired, I should say. Tom, you know, we're taking a look at the fact that they visited Disney, and this is something that I have always been very concerned about, that eventually the Islamic terrorists are going to realize that the way that you really sink our hearts is by going after our children. What steps are in place? Because I've been to Disney many a times, and other than just a bunch of nice people looking through your bags, there isn't much security, pal.
Well, I would disagree with you on the security. I'm sorry, I'm hearing double in my ear. I would disagree with the security because I think that there are a lot of things we don't know with regard to Disney World. They hire counterintelligence specialists. They hire people of Jonathan's caliber. They do threat assessments. They have more money available for counterterrorism and following up than most major governments do. So I think they do a better job. We just don't give them the credit.
Okay. You know what, Jonathan, you know this. I mean, sometimes there's security all around us. We don't even realize we're being watched. And is that the case there at Disney?
Could be. I mean, here's the thing. I do think that Disney makes a big mistake by not letting law enforcement carry their weapons in there. I mean, law enforcement is trained, and you're right. There are guys like me that do the threat assessments on it, and if it was my choice, I would want law enforcement officers to have their weapons in there. But here's what we have to differentiate. And the American people and all the people in these facilities, I mean, a mall is just as dangerous or potential of a threat as Disney World. And what we need to realize is stopping an attack is different from hardening a soft target. Stopping an attack is really going to come down to laws changing, declaring war on somebody like Al-Qaeda or ISIS so that we can then detain people who are sympathizing or supporting them here in the United States. So we can detain them while we do an investigation and get that worked out. We have to go after these people in order to stop an attack. But in order to harden a soft target, you have to make the people that are going to be there aware, and you have to make the facilities hardened from a point where we lessen the vulnerabilities, we mitigate their ability to move in and around inside that facility, which is hard for a soft target because by definition, it is a place that allows people and invites people to come. So really the greatest thing we can do in this country is the exact opposite of what Barack Obama does. We need to empower people, and we need to give people awareness so that they can use their eyes and look around and know where an attack is going to come from, when it may happen, and why it may happen there.
Go ahead, Tom.
Dennis, I will tell you, I'll agree with that 100%. Jonathan's right on point. Also, too, the United States of America, every citizen in this country now must become counterterrorism agents. We got to be the eyes and ears. I looked up a stat not too long ago where only 1 in 5 police departments have a link to the Department of Homeland Security. That's terrible. Every police department should have that. Every citizen should have access to that. If they see something, they can say something. There's so many crimes of that nature, as we know from California, is one great example that could have been thwarted had they done the right thing, or just got on the internet and reported to DHS. Perhaps it could have been thwarted.
Control room, play the sound we have of President Obama today.
Our mission is to destroy ISIL. This campaign at this stage is firing on all cylinders. Once again, ISIL's true nature has been revealed. These are not religious warriors, they are thugs, and they are thieves.
And we have another one too, do we not?
We have to make it harder for people who want to kill Americans to get their hands on weapons of war that let them kill dozens of innocents. People with possible ties to terrorism who aren't allowed on a plane shouldn't be allowed to buy a gun. Reinstate the assault weapons ban. Make it harder for terrorists to use these weapons to kill us.
You know, I take a look at what happened in Boston. Boston, we didn't use guns. You know, I mean, 9/11, there was no guns. Where's this guy? Why is this guy focused on the guns?
Because he wants to take our guns away from us. That's clear. I mean, you can't say that what happened in Boston, in order to stop that, we're going to eliminate marathons and stop selling running shoes. I mean, that's what sense this makes. If you want to stop terrorist attacks, you have to make it possible for investigators to investigate, detain, and ultimately prosecute people or hold them as prisoners of war if we declared war on somebody. But this is just, it's ridiculous that every time something like this happens, they go directly to the gun issue when they should be saying, let's make sure that anybody that wants a gun can have one, and let's make sure they're properly trained. Let's put classes in the classroom to teach them weapon safety and weapons handling when you can and can't use a weapon, and that's how you solve this.
Tom, I have less than a minute left. You know, the last time I was at Disney, which was not too long ago, I remember walking through Epcot Center, and there was a whole crowd of women, I guess they're women, dressed from top to bottom, all black and the Islamic wear. The only thing you could see their eyes, and I can tell you, I was so uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's an uncomfortable feeling, and unfortunately, we live in this type of society that we can't get people to pull their pants up, much less their whole body covered. But real quick on the gun, if I hear weapon of war one more time, Mr. Gilliam will tell you none of these weapons, including the one that was used the other night, if you try and give that to our servicemen overseas, they'll get slaughtered. It is not a military weapon.
All right, Tom, I want to thank you for joining me tonight, and same thing with you, Jonathan. Great insight from both of you guys. What do you think? Send me an email at dmlreport@newsmax.com. Tell us what you think. What should we do? I mean, what do we do with Disney? We'll be back.